Shout out to everybody. Your boy is back. I do want to say this, right? Before we get started, if you know of any speaker conventions or anything, reach out to your boy. You know what I mean? I will come out there. I am a home theater enthusiast, just like everybody else. Another thing, I just keep it real. I don't really want that much drama, even though it is a little bit of drama in the home theater community. I just keep it real with some of these products that I feel like a lot of these people, sometimes they don't keep it real with. And I get it. There is a thing called sponsorships, you know, and you don't want to get a product and run products down. And I'm not saying every product is bad. There are very good products out there. Even though I've had an issue with my Kaleidoscape for different things, I say positive things about the Kaleidoscape as well. You know what I mean? And I own that product. Now, I do want to move on to this, right? So I ended up doing... this title is, can we trust them? I don't know. So I did a review on the Fantastic Four, like when it dropped. I got it on the Kaleidoscape, reviewed it, and to me, I kind of thought the audio wasn't good, right? It wasn't like, you know, when you see the Silver Surfer or the Fire Dude, like they're flying around, the audio doesn't really match what's on the screen. It's very little like atmospheric effects. Anytime the speakers are going off, it's mainly music, you know. So it's like, to me, I didn't really like the mix, other than when Galactus was on screen. That's when you got like a substantial amount of bass. Other than that, like the mix was kind of bland. And I think even with Silver Surfer, she was running and she's like, you know, smashing the things that's trying to, with the portal things are trying to move to Earth or whatever, like she's like smashing through whatever, and it's like it's some bass, but some things are hitting when they're supposed to, but it don't really, you know what I mean? So I felt like it was a lazy mix in the movie, and this is coming off of watching, you know, Superman, which this guy like claims, his name is Haterade, right? He claims that the Superman mix was terrible. Now it's gonna be some stuff with this video, you know, and we're gonna try to keep it as respectful as possible. Everybody's got their own opinions there, but there's like, you know, wrong opinions too, you know, about things, but everybody's entitled to their opinions. I will say this. So that guy, he reviewed the Superman movie, right? And in the Superman movie, he said the audio was terrible. He said the dialogue was barely good. He said that it's not an immersive mix. He's saying that the bass wasn't really there. Like the bass response was non-existent. He showed video of his RS1 speakers not moving, and, you know, just trashed the movie, like audio-wise. And my experience with the movie was a little bit different, you know, and I got it on the Kaleidoscape. I think he said he got his movie on the Kaleidoscape, and I felt like the movie was very immersive. Now, this guy's running a Trinnov Altitude, I think like 16 or something like that. I've got an Anthem AVM 90, which is still like, you know, considered like partly in-game, right? Unless you want to have like 30-something speakers and you want to go to Storm Audio, you know what I'm saying? You know, an Altitude and stuff like that. But in terms of sound quality, like once you get up there, you're up there, right? So like I felt like and you know, I've talked about the Trinnov, why I didn't get the Trinnov, and I can definitely afford the Trinnov. My other channel generates some money for me to just buy a Trinnov, right? Now, I didn't get it for whatever reason, and part of his audio sync delay issues, and you know, it was a lot of like bugs with the Trinnov, so I didn't get it. But the Trinnov, for the most part, sounds good, you know, when you're listening to movies and stuff like that. So when I seen his review, I'm like, this don't even really make sense. I watched the movie again, and I'm like, yo, this movie is like pretty immersive, right? And so Shane Lee, if you know him in home theater, you probably do. He's got over 110,000 subscribers or something like that, right? This guy like piggybacks off of Shane Lee to try to get his channel up, right? Shane Lee did a recap or review of Superman, and he kind of had like a similar experience that I had. He was like, yo, this movie is pretty immersive, and the bass was there. It's not always the amount of bass that you want, you know what I mean? But there's points in the movie where it has good bass, you know, especially like in the beginning, like when I think the Superman's lair, whatever, like comes up out of the ice, and or, you know, the layer comes out of the ice and then the door is moving and all of that stuff. Like it's a decent amount of bass like in the movie. I thought like for the most part, once you crank the movie Superman up, you know, maybe 4 or 5 dB from your normal listening, it sounds like really good, right? And so he had basically the same perception of the movie listening experience that I had. And this guy is like trashing the hater rate is like trashing the movie. And I'm like, why is he doing this? And then the Fantastic Four movie comes out, which has terrible audio mix, right? Other than when Galactus gets on screen, it's a terrible audio mix, right? It's not immersive. He gets on screen and says, this is one of the most immersive experience that he's had with a superhero movie in 2025. Thug Life, he said that. Shane Lee even did the objects are not really tracked the same as it's on the screen. There's a lot of information that should be there that's not there. The height channels are barely, pushing anything besides like music. Like it's no real ambient sounds, nothing like that's going on. You don't really hear too much zipping of the guy, I can't remember his name, the fire dude, Silver Surfer, all of that. You rarely hear anything active up top other than a low mix of music, and he showed on the Atmos viewer of the Trenoff like what was going on, and he went through the whole movie and said like the only time you really get bass in the movie is with the Galactus scenes. You know what I mean? So other than that, he's disappointed with the mix. And this guy says, the mix is amazing. Like, so I don't know, bruh. Either, and everybody's got their own opinions of movies, but it is, come on, like, how can, I want to, y'all out there, how can somebody have this kind of equipment and get the movie, like, so wrong? And I think I know why. I think the guy is biased when it comes to Marvel and DC. I think that's what it is. Like, so, and some of these guys will get like that. Like, if it's a Marvel movie, they're like, oh, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. It's a DC movie, they kind of like, it ain't really that good. You know what I'm saying? Or, it's like that. It's like they just, like, their ears change. The way they look at movies, like, change, their whole perspective change. It's like, how could you get this movie so wrong? And then you had like Thunderbolt, you had like, like all these other movies that came out, and you think this one sounds better than all of those? Like, how? Like, I didn't really care for Thunderbolt, like the sound of that, like too much. You know what I mean? But most of the mix was like in the LCRs, right? I mean, that, it points to where the overheads and everything was active, but for the most part, it was just like the left, right, and center. So I didn't really, first of all, I didn't really like the movie, but I didn't really care for the audio mix. But I could distinguish the two. There's a lot of movies I don't like that sound amazing. I'm not a huge Dune fan, but I probably watched Dune, or at least a big chunk of it. You know what I mean? Like, at least once every other month, because I love the way the movies sound. I mean, it's growing on me now. I love the way the movies sound. The Superman movie, right? When that movie came out, the new one, like I don't even like superheroes, right? The Man of Steel, I thought it sounded pretty good, like for its age, right? I thought it was a good movie. Right? I mean, it's kind of newer. It's not like an 80s movie, but I thought it sounded pretty good. I watch it because of the sound. But that movie's actually good. The new Superman, I did not like the movie, but I could tell that the bass was there. I could tell that it was an immersive experience. It's not going to be as immersive as Dune, but it was an immersive experience, right? So I could separate the two. But like, if you are a fanboy of DC, or a fanboy of Marvel, and you don't like DC or vice versa, you shouldn't let that like get in the way of how, you know what I mean, you review movies and stuff like that. I would think, right? Or it could be another thing, right? Maybe he's not hearing the movies the same way that we're hearing them. And sometimes, like, and this is another issue, right? A lot of reviewers don't actually watch movies. This happens a lot. A lot of them don't watch movies. A lot of them, like, you hear, you talk to them. What's the last movie you saw? Oh, I haven't watched a movie in months. I haven't had time. I'm reviewing this, I'm reviewing that, but I haven't really watched movies. You know what I'm saying? Or, you will hear them talking like on podcasts, and they'll talk about their life, and this is supposed to be home theater. And it's like, why are you talking about your life? Well, I haven't had time to watch movies. Then why are you cutting the camera on? If you haven't watched movies and you're supposed to be talking about movies and it's a home theater experience. Like, why do y'all do that? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't even watch movies a lot of times. You know what I mean? And I don't know if maybe this guy just has an issue with his calibration, or it could be bias. So can we trust him? I do want to say this is not bullying or nothing like that. I do want to put that out there. Home theater, I feel like it should be as big as any other genre, because we all love it. We spend a lot of time with our speakers. We watch a lot of movies, and we all get intrigued and interested. We meet people who live close to us or whatever. We all share our home theaters together, and movie experience together. So I do think it should be a little bit bigger than what it is. But so we need to talk about things a little bit more in home theater. But as far as, can we trust his opinion on movies? If it's Marvel and DC, I would look at it with a side eye. I would, because it's, how are you getting this movie wrong with the Trent-off? And how did you get the Superman movie so wrong? Your comment section don't even agree with you. And sometimes people don't agree. It happens. I put movie reviews or, stuff. People kind of don't agree a little bit, you know what I mean? Or people don't like that I might talk about a certain influencer or something like that. They might not like it, so I might get some negative blowback in the comment section. But when your comment section is looking like how it was, like, various different, a lot of different people with various different systems, like having a different experience, like a way better experience, and you have all of this and your experience is terrible with the Superman movie, that don't make sense. Even like I'm chilling with my girl last night, and we were talking about this. I'm like, yo, can you believe this? And she was listening to the review, and she was like, no, like that movie, like, sounded pretty good, like the Superman movie. And then I was talking to her about the Fantastic Four, and I don't think she liked the way it sounded. So it's like, I'm not the only one here. I don't know how he's getting these movies wrong. And all I'm saying is because this guy's got a big ego, you know what I mean, about like his reviewing and stuff like that, like how he talks. So it's, one thing we don't want to do when we doing this, because these studios are giving us opportunity to have physical media. Sometimes I get stuff on Kaleidoscape and I double dip. I might buy, if it's a Steelbook I want, I might buy the Superman movie and the Steelbook, right? I just like the Steelbook. But I'm probably going to get it on a Kaleidoscape because it's going to have slightly more data normally with movies, right? But like when these studios are going this far, is to continue to make sure they're pushing out physical media to people. We don't want to trash things that don't necessarily need to be trashed. Now, Disney and some of these companies, especially Marvel, they put out movies that have terrible audio a lot of times. You know what I mean? And we have to hold them to the same regard as like DC. Like if they put out something that's not as great, right? So that's all I want to say. But shout out to him. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section. And what did you think about the Fantastic Four? Did you like the audio? I did not like the audio. Did you think it was great? Did it match up to what you were seeing on the screen? I didn't feel like it did. It's kind of reminiscent of the Sonic movie. The Sonic movie was pretty good, but it's like the audio is not really matching what you're seeing on screen, which can throw you off. Like if, you're listening to home theater, it wasn't as bad as like the Penguin like series, right? Like on HBO. Like that series, they had like a whole nother problem with like one of the episodes. I think it was like episode 6 or something, to where like the dialogue is coming out of the right speaker. It's nothing crazy like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about these two movies. You know what I mean? And whether or not you trust them. But, I do want to end with this, subscribe to them, whatever. And it's not bullying. It's not dissing, but it's just like, yo, like we all in the community. How can somebody get so many movies wrong with this equipment? And it kind of, maybe it's either coming down to hearing, or it's coming down to calibration, or maybe his speakers need to be changed. I don't know what it is, but y'all tell me what y'all think down in the comment section below. Comment, rate, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think about that. Peace.